I think we're ready, Mayor.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm not seeing City Hall here. I'm not seeing a picture of any of the counselors. But I know you're there. So I will call to order the meeting of Wilsonville City Council, and I will actually ask Councilor Linville to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance after we do the roll call. Will the city recorder please do the roll call?
Mayor Fitzgerald.
Here.
Council President Akkerval.
Here.
Councilor Dunwell.
Here.
Councilor Linville.
Here.
Councilor Berry.
Present.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilor Linville, please.
So if you all stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Council President Akkerval, may I please have a motion to approve the following order of agenda?
I move to approve the following order of agenda.
Is there a second?
I will second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. That will bring us to mayor's business, and I'm going to start by asking Council President Akkerval. We each have family commitments in different parts of the country today. That's why we're both remote. Do you have the documents convenient to read the motion for the boards and commission appointment, Council President Akkerval? If you
I do.
We've sent that out earlier. Thank you.
I move to ratify the appointment of Aaron Harris to the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Commission for a term beginning July 15th, 2024 to June 30th, 2026.
Thank you. The motion has been made. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. The motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. So I hope, thank you very much. That was one of our last open appointments for this session. And I wanted to hope that everybody had a good holiday, 4th of July and so forth, and that we were all safe despite that heat that we all endured. And it's cooling down a little bit here. A couple of things that I wanted to talk about regarding this month of July. In July, our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee has selected some events to recognize each month. And one of those this month is Disability Pride Month. And also that July 26th is the anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act, signed July 26, 1990 by President George H.W. Bush. And I just had an opportunity to spend a couple of hours with one of our members of our community who has lived using a wheelchair for many years, does many things, and actually two other people that I met with recently. And each time I have good opportunity to learn about how great it is that we have the Americans with Disabilities Act. I've also learned how important it is to have the Disability Pride Month as well. And it's important that our cities continue to enforce the elements of inclusion for people living with disabilities. Everything from where they're going to find a parking space, which is still not always that easy, to how they will be included in our community in all different ways. So it's good to recognize that here in Wilsonville and continue to try to do better. We also, the DEI committee held the 4th annual Juneteenth celebration on June 19th. Some of us attended that. It was a great event. We had record attendance. There was a very good speech by Kimberly Howard Wade, who's executive director of Caldera Arts. It is, and there was music provided by DJ Brian Wallace. I want to thank our event sponsors, who include Swire Coca-Cola, Columbia Distributing, Hilton Garden Inn in Wilsonville, and the Institute of Technology, and also our many volunteers and staff who helped put that together. Another big thing that happened just recently was the Korean War Memorial Ceremony and the grand opening of the Korean War Memorial Interpretive Center. And again, I want to thank everyone who worked to put that together, including many veterans, city staff, veterans locally, and from a great distance, to put together an incredible recognition for the opening of the Interpretive Center and the Korean War Memorial, recognizing the beginning date of the Korean War and all that it brought, and that we're still talking about. And I encourage everybody to go and see that Interpretive Center in the Parks building. But during the day of our recognition, we had many dignitaries, including Governor Tina Kotek, Congresswoman Andrea Salinas, Consul General Eun-ji Seo of the Republic of Korea, who's visited Wilsonville several times, and she hosted several veterans and me for lunch after the ceremony, which was very nice. And I want to say they all just so appreciate having this significant Korean War memorial in Wilsonville that has been a legacy for many years now. The Interpretive Center has been underway for a long time, thanks to the leadership of the veterans who put that together. And they also really wanted to make sure to thank our Wilsonville Park staff who participated with them in that, and with the support of all of the donors and people in the community who helped do that, to help make that possible. And I remember that starting in 2013 is when the idea of having an interpretive center in that Parks building came to be. And now here's more than 10 years later, the center is finally opening. So it's really a wonderful new addition to our community. I also had an opportunity last month to meet with the Oregon Trail chapter of the Korean War Veterans Association during their monthly meeting at the end of June. And they meet once a month in Wilsonville, and heard more presentations about their interest in continuing to involve students and young people in learning about the Korean War, and also about all of the aspects of life that our veterans and their families and loved ones contend with at all times. And I think I hope that this interpretive center can be a continuation of a way to bring more renewed understanding of our veterans and what they've done for Korea and for the United States and freedom across the world. So wonderful thing to be able to attend. I also attended, as some of you did, the 4th of July laser light show. I had my little granddaughter visiting, and it was just right up her alley. I think they had fantastic crowd there. And the light show was better than ever, and it was fun to see all the kids participating and families. We have movies in the park starting now this summer. I think the first one was this week. And look to our City of Wilsonville schedule to see more of what's happening there. Coming up on July 26th, you'll see the movie Elemental at Edelweiss Park, and on August 9th, Migration at Town Center Park. And on August 23rd, that will be the last movie in the park for the season. It is Wish at the Lower Memorial Park in River Shelter. So it's nice to see those moving around town, different locations. The movies begin at dusk, and people who want to enjoy that are encouraged to bring their own blanket or lawn chair so they can be comfortable to watch those movies. You can find all the details on the city website. Finally, in terms of meetings, our next city council meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 5th at 7 p.m. So that's the end of the mayor's business, and that brings me to our communications section. Do we have anyone scheduled? I don't think we do. And actually, I'm not certain the audio is working here. Now we're ready for our communication or citizen input section of the agenda. I will ask the city manager, do we have anyone lined up to present or speak at citizen input?
I have one, but she left. Doris
Okay.
Whaler.
Do we have anyone on Zoom or on the phone? No?
No.
Okay, then I will not read this, this section, and all of the items that we've received will be part of the record. That brings us to our councilor comments, starting with Council President Ackerval.
Thank you. Since our last meeting, I was also able to attend the grand opening for the Interpretive Center in our Parks and Rec building near the Korean War Memorial. That was a fantastic event, and it's really a very nice interpretive center. I hope that community members take the opportunity to check that out sometime in the next few weeks, as they're likely enjoying the park there in town center. It's really an asset that we have this memorial in our city, and a learning opportunity for all of our community members as well to digest the information that's in that interpretive center too. I also attended the Juneteenth celebration, and a big thank you to staff and volunteers and our DEI committee and community businesses that supported that event. It really feels like each year now it's gaining momentum, and I'm so happy to see that be part of a new Wilsonville tradition. Quick reminder to everyone as we're really in the middle of summer now. The summer reading program continues. I think my daughter was able to turn in her first full sheet of the 20-minute segments that you can sign off on. And when you turn in those sheets for the youth in our community, you're awarded a free book to take home and enjoy. So that's extra incentive to get those sheets turned into our library. And then you can check out another sheet and fill up another one. So a reminder to everyone to take a look at that at our library, get those turned in. And also, one thing that we recently remembered too is the great collection of things that is in our library, in the library of things. There is board games and a croquet set, some yard games, all sorts of activities and crafts and different things like that you can check out from the library. It might just add another little bit of stimulus and interest to your summer plans and something fun to take a look at. So there's an idea for you. And that's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll hear from Councilor Linville.
Thank you. Really short. I also attended some of the same events, and I wanted to say that I wasn't able to attend the laser light show, but from my home in Charbonneau, I could hear the music from the band, which was pretty interesting. That I couldn't hear exactly what it was saying, but I think going across the river, I know that sometimes at the Wilsonville High School football games, we can hear the band warming up and playing at the football game. So a little vicarious entertainment. On the 10th of this month, I attended the Oregon Settlement Prevention, Treatment, and Recovery Board, and we've now allocated money for prevention, and at this meeting, we allocated money for treatment. And so there were about $13 million that was allocated for 7 treatment facilities as well as mobile units. And so my understanding is that the closest one for us will be in Oregon City, and so we may have access to a mobile unit that would be able to come to the city of Wilsonville as that kind of rolls out. And then the last thing is I just wanted to remind the public that starting on the 18th of this month will be the Rotary concerts that will be in Town Center Park. And the city of Wilsonville is a co-sponsor with the Rotary. With the Rotary on those concerts, and they're always well attended. They begin, I think, at 5:30, and as the mayor encouraged with the movies, and I heard the Barbie movie was very well attended. People who attend know they need to bring their blankets and chairs, and those are always such fun events. And that is all I have.
Thank you.
Wait, Mayor, I just wanted to mention one other thing. When an incident in the community where we had, and this is something that it has been going on in other cities in our area, in the metro area, but there are people who are driving up and stopping people that are either on their way to a mailbox or who are walking and asking for directions, and they are stealing jewelry, watches, all kinds of things off of people, and then getting in this van or usually an expensive vehicle and driving off. So we just need to ask our citizens to be really cognizant of kind of people that are approaching us and asking for kind of either directions or those kinds of things. And I know that we're very trusting and we want to be very helpful, but not everyone is our best friend. So just a warning.
Thank you for bringing that up, Councilor Linville. I'd like to ask our city manager to talk to our communications team and our police department about potentially putting something out on social media about that as an advisory.
Yeah, we talked about that this morning, and the chief is working on that.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
That's really too bad. But thank you for bringing that up and bringing it to people's attention. And that brings us to Councilor Berry, please.
Thank you. Driver class over here in the community center, and I don't know if anybody's had a chance to do it, but the class is really good. I went in with expectations that it'd be okay, but the instructor was really good. It was filled with great tips, learning and tips and techniques to be a safe and defensive driver. And then as a bonus, there is a small discount that you could add to your auto insurance when you complete the class. So I encourage people to do that if they're interested. The next class here in Wilsonville will be in August. And then I also got to attend the Korean War ceremony and grand opening. And I just was really overwhelmed with the large turnout and the sense of gratitude that the audience had and the speakers had, and it just was a really nice event. And then one of the things that really impresses me that when you go into the building where the interpretive center is, one of the first things you see is hanging from the ceiling is a display of paper cranes. And paper cranes are a symbol of peace and well-being. And I just think that's such a nice thing to have here in Wilsonville, especially at the center. So thank you to everybody who was part of that ceremony and all the work that went into it. Let's see, this week on Wednesday, I have two things coming up. It's the Clackamas County C4 Metro Subcommittee, so I'll be meeting with them in the morning. And then in the afternoon, there's an open house for the North Willamette Research and Extension Center. It's on Miley Road. It's going to be from 4 to 7 p.m. And there's a flyer, I think you can probably find it on the Wilsonville website. It looks like lots of fun activities for all ages. So I'm hoping to go, and I hope other people will too. So thank you. Oh, one last thing, since it's counselor comments and whatnot, maybe I should say this later in the meeting, but I just wanted to pull out gratitude for the monthly reports we get from the department heads. And one of the ones that really caught my eye was community development, where Chris Nemsu highlighted that there's 5 members of the Wilsonville executive team that has children graduating from high school this year. And that's a milestone. That's really exciting. And Chris noted that his son, Jonathan, will be attending the University of Washington Marine Biology program, and that touched my heart because I'm also a graduate from the University of Washington, and my neighbor was a big part of the Marine Biology program and always talked highly of it. So I'm really excited for Chris and his family. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Dunwell.
Hello. Today I attended the Washington County Coordinating Committee subcommittee meeting. Mayor, in your absence as alternate, I went ahead and joined and was pleased to be part of that. Just like every other area in the Portland Metro, there was a significant discussion that followed a presentation regarding changes in the urban growth boundary and proposed changes in the UGB. It's a contentious conversation, but I think information helps educate everyone, and all of the mayors and the councilors that were there asked very direct questions, just to make sure that all growth is smart growth. And then the other was our favorite topic of the day, which was ODOT and the future of ODOT and the disparity between revenue coming into ODOT for services and because of not just electric vehicles, but because of the fact that they actually showed that a new vehicle purchased today is much more highly efficient than a vehicle purchased in the year 2000. So there's a significant decrease in the gas tax, as we all know. So that having to look at how to make that up, and of course, tolling was part of a very brief part of the conversation, but it is a conversation none of us want to have or like to have. And I think we've all seen different elements of that presentation from ODOT over and over again, and they said we're feeling like a broken record. But I think we all need to continue to pay very close attention, and I know, Mayor, you are paying very close attention to where we're going with all of that, so I appreciate your good work. And then on a personal note, I wanted to speak a little bit, maybe more than a little bit, about being a citizen in Wilsonville. And although I'm an elected official, I'm a citizen first. And I've been here since 2014. And I'm really happy to live here. And as any of you may know, or some of you may know, I ran unopposed. That wasn't by my choice. I was ready to have those deep conversations about where we go as a city, but I ran unopposed, and I was elected, so here I am. I take my role just as seriously as I would have if I'd run against others. We are in a time in our city where there is divisiveness. There are individuals in this community that are spreading misstatements on social media. And as an elected official, I am very thoughtful and careful about what I say on social media. But yet, as a member of the community, I do watch certain pages, community pages, because I like to see what's going on. And there has been a significant amount of conversation that has rolled up and become an echo chamber of misinformation and name-calling and information that is actually blatant fact lies. And I want to talk about something that I saw on the community page on the 2nd of July, because it has now risen beyond just those same individuals. We now have a resident of our community, a citizen of our community, who is a county commissioner, Ben West. And he made a post on the 2nd of July that said the city's act, and this was regarding the Spokesman article, the very well-written and thoroughly researched Spokesman article about Home Depot. As Home Depot continues to push its move into Wilsonville, the city accuses the company of bribery. And let me read to you what Mr. West and Commissioner West wrote. The city's accusations are concerning, inflammatory, and unnecessary. Home Depot has acted in good faith. However, the Wilsonville City Council seems antithetical to this business development because it doesn't align with their utopian vision of urban town center. The old Fry's building is a blight and a nuisance, and preventing Home Depot from participating in revitalization of the area is just bad policy. I support bringing Home Depot to Wilsonville. That's what he said. There were 131 comments to that. Everything from those that said, I don't understand why you're against bringing Home Depot in, to you're absolutely right, that Fry's building has to be taken care of, to let's vote them all out, they're all corrupt on the city council, they don't know what they're doing. But let me tell you something. On April 15, 2019, this is what Councilor West said, because he voted yes to the town center plan that we've all been supporting. He said, one thing he heard amongst his peers in the community was a lack of diversity, not only culture in restaurants and things like that. People often feel like they have to drive into Portland to go to Le Pigeon or Ox or even places like Las Primas, and the more cheap eats that provide such quality and artistry in the community. People felt like that was one little missing nugget. He asked if this would draw more of that type of industry beyond just those large chains or box stores, because we need diversity in this community. And if so specifically, why did they think it would make them look more vibrant in this way? So he then voted yes for the first reading of the town center plan. He was excused and absent for the second. Here's the problem with that. Mr. West is completely entitled to his opinions. But what I am seeing on social media are opinions that are becoming read as facts. I applaud the Wilson spokesman for going in and doing the deep research. I recommend everyone read that article and listen to what is actually being said. This was not about bringing Home Depot into Wilsonville. Let me get that straight. This was about the Class 1 and the Class 2 review. The Class 1 review was whether or not the 1991 Town Center Plan was then superseded by the 2019 revised Town Center Plan. Our city planner says yes, it was, which says it's an electronics-related retail establishment. And we stood by that, just as the DRB did. And I continue to stand by that. Now it's in the hands of Luba, and we'll see where Luba goes. But I believe that going in and crucifying the city council when we did what we felt was the best work, given what was legally placed in front of us, we should have all been recalled for that. because we would have been doing what's inappropriate and wrong. And yet this echo chamber of social media is going around that is being continually brought up, and videos of me where there are clips where I'm speaking something and it's taken out of context and making it look like I don't know what I'm talking about. Folks, do your homework. Every citizen of this community has a right for a voice, just like I do. Every citizen in this community has an open ability to sit down and speak to the members of our staff. Do your homework. All of us should be doing that. I do it every time we get before a city council meeting. I spend my Sundays and the days before reading the packets. But yet there are individuals in the community that have decided that social media is the way to do this. And they've gotten to the point of they get to name calling. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. And yet when some of these same individuals are being asked, will they run for office? Because you should run for office. No, I'm too busy. Let me tell you something. So am I. I hold a full-time job. I carry this. I'm taking care of a family because my husband just passed away, but I am still showing up. So no excuses. Run for office if you don't like it, then you can do your homework and you understand we have a fiduciary and an elected official responsibility to serve every member of this community. I've never said I'm against Home Depot, but everybody's trying to make us the bad guys. All we were doing was talking about the Class 1 and the Class 2 review. So I ask everybody on the city council, I ask everybody in this city to pay attention, do your homework, call the members of the city and reach out to them. Don't listen to certain individuals that seem to be bullhorns of misinformation and let them become your truth. I honor the city by doing my homework. I would ask that every member of this community do the same before they start building into these 131 comments out there. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dunwell. I appreciate you taking the opportunity to reflect on some of the very disingenuous and hateful things that have been said about the council. As I spoke to the reporter at the Spokesman several weeks ago, I said, it's really been an enjoyable opportunity to be the mayor of Wilsonville since 2021. I filed for office, and the next day, Ben West filed to run against me. We had a campaign, all volunteers, and I was honored to have been elected, speaking to my commitment to just really loving this community. I've spent my career raising money for nonprofits. Started with the Girl Scouts, went to the 4-H, Oregon 4-H Foundation, Children's Mental Health Services, Oregon Health and Science University Foundation, Dornbecker Children's Hospital, the Nature Conservancy, and Animal Conservation and the Oregon Zoo Foundation. That's what I did for my career and worked full-time in that for 43 years. And to have two groups of people registered with the Oregon Secretary of State under Oristar. One was called Oregon Progressives for Accountability, and the other one was called Clackamas Strong. And the three names registered to run those PACs are people I've never met. I don't believe they live in Wilsonville or have ever lived in Wilsonville. And they succeeded in their methods. They, with others, circulated really hateful text messages calling us crooks and crony capitalists. And it worked. All of our three ballot measures, the two term limit amendments failed. I honor that. So instead of being limited to being in office for 12 years out of 20, it secured the fact that in Wilsonville, if you're elected to city council for 4 years, and then you don't run again. But after being elected, if they ask you to serve the 43 days remaining in the term of a man whose wife passed away, after you're elected, that's what my situation was. And I thought, well, I was just elected. I haven't even started serving, but they've asked me to serve 43 days for the man who had to resign. I went ahead and did that. And our term limits are so restrictive that those 43 days essentially count as 4 years. And then this term will be my last term. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of time. I put my heart and soul into it. I thank my husband for all the time he spent supporting me and the time I spent away from him. And I thank Councilor Dunwell, Councilor Linville, Councilor Berry, and Council President Ackerval also for all the time they are going to continue to spend on this, being the most upstanding citizens I've ever met. But I guess there are people out there who just like to do what Councilor Dunwell is recommending. And I just wanted to is describing what she described. They seem to like to put out these kinds of really hateful messages. I hope that people who are thinking of running for office will just bear up and realize that maybe that will not happen to them, but if it does, it just seems to be part of the landscape, unfortunately. But I hope that we can turn a page and follow some of the messages that have been put before us in the tragic events that just happened, what happened to President Trump. That is a very extreme event, and it's a horrible event. Every person has it within themselves to think and be reflective and do their own research and be engage in constructive criticism and constructive dialogue. In 2020, there were 2 positions open for council. Only 2 people filed to run. The people who are running, it's not their job to find opponents, but no one else filed. Now we're in the election season. I think we're going to see some more people running. And I hope that whoever is our next mayor has a very good experience being mayor, because I think this is one of the best cities in Oregon. And I hope that the people who are elected to the 2 council positions have an excellent experience as well. And that we continue to have dialogue and have people come to our focus groups and sessions and write us emails, and when they have a response from the staff or the city council, take it seriously. There's a tremendous amount of information on our website. I had somebody ask me the other day why I don't engage in social media. Well, it's really not good for your health, for one thing. Secondly, we have found that out. The Surgeon General has advised that. But more importantly, the reason I don't go on to Facebook and jabber back and forth with people is that is not good governance. Everything that we say should be a part of public record. That's why we're doing this in these meetings today. And as far as the Home Depot topic, it's going to be a long topic. At least one of our packets, and maybe 2 of the packets, has been over 1,000 pages long. All of the material has been posted, available for everyone to read on our website. It is still there. And when a matter is up for litigation or is in litigation, then we follow the law. I choose to follow the law. Everyone I know on the council tries very hard to follow the law and wait until that litigation is over to talk about it. And that is honoring the entire discussion about the topic. And right now, what happened is there was a disagreement on the Class 1 and the Class 2 review. And so the next step that Oregon provides is that goes to the Land Use Board of Appeals for review, and that's where it is right now. And I think it would be wonderful to have more retail, the best kind of retail, the kind of retail that people want in Wilsonville. Let's keep going down this path in the right way and see how it goes. We certainly need more activity. I'm happy to announce, I'm going to take a little bit more time here to announce some good news. In the town center area near Safeway, as you've read in the Wilsonville Spokesman, again, a source where you can read some things like this, there is going to be a new vendor for the former site, in the site of the former corner coffee shop. We're going to have Ella B's Coffee. I visited them in Happy Valley. It's a great location. You go over there and see the kind of business they run, and they're going to be working on redeveloping the inside of that shop and opening that up. And then over in the Old Town Center, in the Fred Meyer Shopping Center, some of us call it, you see 3 empty storefronts with white behind the windows, sheeting and so forth, they've been empty. The decisions on who locates in those spaces is the decision of the owner of that property, and they have secured a new tenant, and it looks like it's taking a while to renovate those spaces, but there are 3 spaces that are now being renovated for a very well-recognized Asian eatery, and I hope they will be doing some announcements. I don't know how long it will take to renovate that space, but that's going to be a great new space opening up there soon. And so we have a lot to be thankful for in Wilsonville, and I hope that everyone will join me in recognizing the tragedy of what our nation endured with the event at the rally for President Trump, and hope that nothing like that ever happens again in any aspect of our country. And there's probably things that all of us can do to lower the temperature and have a good conversation so that together we can keep having one of the best cities in Oregon. So thank you. That concludes our councilor comments, and it brings us to the consent agenda. I wanted to ask for a motion to approve, or ask for the city attorney to read the consent agenda, please.
Minutes of the May 20, 2024 City Council meeting.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
Your Honor, I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. That brings us to new business. I would like to ask the city attorney to read the resolutions.
Thank you, Mayor. And the resolutions will be presented together, but they will be voted on separately, so I'll read both by title. Resolution number 3163, a resolution adopting collective bargaining agreement between the City of Wilsonville and Service Employees International Union Local 503 SEIU. Resolution number 3164, a resolution adopting collective bargaining agreement between the City of Wilsonville and Wilsonville Municipal Employees Association, WILMIA.
Thank you. And we have a staff report, I believe.
Yes, thank you, Council, for your time tonight. I'm Andrea Villagrana, the HR Manager for the City of Wilsonville, and we have before you 2 collective bargaining agreements that we were successfully able to come to a tentative agreement to in June. And I'd like to point out that we are very appreciative of the union and their bargaining teams for the time and the dedication that it took to come to these agreements. It takes a lot for us to get to this point, and we are very supportive of the 2 collective bargaining agreements that we have before you.
Thank you. So while we have our staff here, I wanted to ask if the council have any clarifying questions for them.
I do not.
I mean, the council, sorry.
I do not.
No, and I think we've had ample opportunity to review the collective bargaining agreements that are before us in these resolutions.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call for a vote and a second, and then I will ask for any discussion at that time.
I think we need a motion.
Right, I'm going to call. So to begin with, could I have a motion on resolution number 3163?
I move to adopt Resolution 3163.
Is there
A second.
And is there any discussion?
No, I just would like to thank our staff and the members of representatives from the unions on both of these collective bargaining agreements. I know that those take time, and there's back and forth and work to be done on both sides, and so I just appreciate that we have been able to come to agreement and that these have been ratified. So thank you.
Thank you. I agree. I thought that was a good summary of that. So hearing no other comments, I will call for the vote. All in favor of resolution 3163, say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. May I have a motion, or city, let's see, we already read, the city attorney already read Resolution 3164. I will ask for a motion, please.
I move to adopt Resolution 3164.
I second.
Any comments? I will add that, consistent with the Councilor Linville's comment about Resolution 3163, in both cases on these resolutions, we had extensive opportunity to read that and understand that. And I, in particular, wanted to say that I appreciate the time that the staff and the bargaining unit spent coming up with a good agreement for our staff for the next period, and one that I feel confident is a responsible agreement for our staff and keeps us in very good operation for our city and continues to be the right kind of agreement to meet the expectations of our citizens and maintain excellent operations. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, I will call for the vote on Resolution 3164. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Do we have, I know this month in our packet, we have the detailed city manager report, which has a lot of detail. I thank you for that, Mr. Cosgrove. Do you have anything to add?
Nothing new, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any legal business?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to alert the council, if you weren't aware, though, I think it was something that we were all tracking, that the United States Supreme Court issued its decision on the Grants Pass case, which, as you all know, is one of the cases involving how we look at camping on public property and whether or not there's an Eighth Amendment protection against prosecuting people for camping on public property. The United States Supreme Court ruled that it is not an Eighth Amendment violation to camp on public property or to prosecute people for camping on public property. That has certain implications for many states. However, Oregon's a little bit unique because we do have House Bill 3115 that essentially codified the Martin v. Boise and Grants Pass decisions. So there will be more to come, I anticipate, with regard to what this means for Oregon and that statute. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's kind of a very high level overview of what the Supreme Court decided.
All right, thank you very much. With that, we've completed our agenda, and I will adjourn the meeting at, I'm 3 hours later,
7:49.
7:49 p.m. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.